Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and a very happy new year to all of you. 2025 has been a fascinating year, personally, culturally. I had 3 video essays of mine get a ton of views, for me at least. I actually started getting paid by YouTube, and I reached 2,000 subscribers. I'm so incredibly thankful to anyone who stuck around, anybody who's commented, or just sat and enjoyed my videos. It means the world people keep coming back, and I've gotten some comments this year that were really meaningful to me. These discussions are why I do it, so thank you. This year, I certainly watched the most movies I've ever seen in one year. And while fundamentally I learned that meant I was going to be disappointed a whole lot, there were still quite a number of pieces of media from 2025 or from any time in the past that had a real impact on me this year. So I'll start by talking about the stuff from this year, and at the back end of the video we'll discuss a couple of things from earlier times. With all that said, let's get into the video. When it comes to Severance, because of how much I loved the first season, I was pretty disappointed with the season overall, but the moments that were great were arguably some of the best of TV of 2025. A lot of media has a hard time making a character that was only spoken about seem real when you finally meet them, especially when they've been talked up the way Mark or Devin spoke of Gemma. But Chikai Bardo is able to do that and more. We get every sense we need to of Gemma as a person, of their relationship, what made it and what was breaking it, and strikes a chord at the love transcends Severance theme we've been getting the entire show, as well as opening up endless more questions about autonomy, women's bodily autonomy and reproductive autonomy in particular, the autonomy you give up when you become part of an intentional partnership, and the positives and negatives that brings. This episode does it in a way that truly utilizes filmic language effectively, emotively. You fall in love with her and lose her too. And you can only do that with good actors, good writing, good directing. Everything just comes together in a way that makes this the most successful version of the story possible. But I still want to know why the fuck we didn't talk about Petey this season. Hashtag justice for Petey. So I've never been to England, nor have I killed anyone, but from my experience as a mentally ill kid and teen, getting help at emergency rooms, psych wards, PHPs, getting pulled out of class by school counselors, etc., adolescence is incredibly accurate to that experience, minute to minute. Watching the pilot with my parents who have experienced nights similar to this with me was honestly harrowing. And it too gets right a bunch of people trying their best within a system that doesn't allow the help people need, or doesn't know how to give people the help they need. And I'm just so glad that this was such a giant conversation starter. The amount of average parents and kids that watched this and tried to discuss it. That's what media is about. And Adolescence tells this story in a way that looks at so many sides in a unique format that it rarely feels like an after-school special, and I'm glad it received such a spotlight. It's also technically so incredible. So often when people do the whole movie or show is one shot shtick, they're futzing it. And of course, all film is illusion, so that doesn't really matter, but it's just amazing to see the behind the scenes. Nathan Fielder may be the freshest face comedy has seen in so long, and the Rehearsal season 2 was able to use an incredibly niche to draw conclusions about our universal social world and still make legitimate change within that niche. And as an autistic who has felt like Nathan Fielder either was himself or is certainly a patron saint of autism forever, including all the autism stuff was fucking fantastic. In general, he's able to get us to feel extreme cringe and turn that around to show the indomitable spirit of human nature, how we want to try, how we are ourselves, how we change people's lives just by being in them. And I'm always really fascinated by his fascination with acting and how he uses that to uncover these larger truths about social performance in the most intimate situations. And we learn with him to a satisfying but also a really sobering conclusion. While I don't have a lot to add that hasn't already been said, Sinners was the cinematic phenomenon of 2025 in my household, and it is sure to be a new classic. It glides through genres effortlessly and meaningfully. Michael B. Jordan gives us the best one actor, two roles performance since Dead Ringers, and it has such a reverence for the Delta blues and pays homage to its legacy in so many ways, from Buddy Guy to the best movie scene of 2025. Such a beautiful way to use filmmaking to honor music's through line in Black culture, and how our culture makes us. The film industry has 2 roads it can go down right now. Keep making franchise reboot bullshit, sink millions into ventures that people don't care about, or go down the route of Sinners. Make original stories with diverse casts and crews, that mean something to the people watching. We'll talk more about the current state of the industry at the end, but I also want to highlight Sinners for having Black Sign Language interpretation available on HBO. It's been cool to see HBO do this more often, and especially with Black Sign Language in particular. Similar to Severance, I was disappointed overall with season 2 of Doctor Who, but the great moments were great. I'm really sad about how it all ended up, because Belinda was set up to be great. I enjoyed their dynamic at the start, and we got a lot of really interesting visual digressions this season. From the Lux meta stuff, to the animation and the story in the engine, and although it went fucking nowhere, the inclusion of Susan at all was such a long time coming, and I'm glad they at least got her on screen and introduced her to the current audience. I played so much Sims 4 this year that I barely forayed into the world of games, and while I never actually played it, I spent so much time watching other people play No I'm Not a Human that I feel like I need to talk about it. No I'm Not a Human is stupidly relevant in so many ways. It's a type of great work that allows you to create multiple allegories within it, and says insightful things within all of them. Whether you focus in on our internal biases, or how bureaucracy influences those biases, as well as the fact that just being faced with this many moral choices at once tells you a lot about yourself or whoever you're watching play it, what they succumb to, what they stick to. On top of cultivating a really tactile atmosphere in its stylization, the heat, the fatigue amongst the paranoia, how much waiting is involved in warfare and apocalypse. And it's a good game, like its gameplay is effective. You have to be aware of a lot at once, and it really puts you into the mind of the protagonist and immerses you in the world. Okay, I know this is a little left of center when it comes to the other media I've been discussing, but I can't round up this year without talking about the incredible fucking My Chemical Romance show that I went to. I've been an emo forever. I was so excited for it, and it completely exceeded my expectations. The band sounds great, Gerard sounds great, the theatricality was amazing. I loved seeing Frank try to act and shit, on top of a great B-stage set, and just as we were leaving, we stopped over by the barricade to get to see them up close. And while I've met Frank many a time as a New Jersey native, I'd never seen any of the other guys that close before. And it was while they were playing Kids of Yesterday too. Like, there they are, these 4 guys who changed the lives of every person in this stadium. And on top of that, all of the world building and story that's gone into this tour is awesome. It truly feels like stepping into a new world that also seems to maybe tie together Black Parade and Danger Days, from the characters, the costumes, and the language. I'll put it in the description if anyone's interested, but someone on Reddit basically made a workbook to learn Kapashka, and I'm trying to make it my goal to be able to read anything in the language by the time I see them next. I did my first reread and rewatch of the Hunger Games franchise now that we have the 2 prequels, and was just blown away from start to finish. Not that it didn't mean a lot to me as a kid and teach me a lot about the world, but ingesting the content of the Hunger Games alongside the chaos and horror of our current age was so illuminating and gave me a real want to fight back and stay strong. While I didn't think Sunrise was up to par with the rest of the books, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes may be my favorite of the series because of how insightful it was. It's a true look into the growing mind of a dictator, and being able to hear his decision-making and mental state makes so many of his and any evil leader's thought processes seem rational, while just as, if not more, inexcusable. And the resurgence of the fandom has been awesome. Deep dives from people like Emily Ann on TikTok or Dove Makes on YouTube are incredible, and they teach you so much about American history while learning about its fictionalized counterparts. In general, I've been trying to read more, and I got through and am getting through a number of classics this year like Dorian Gray, Wuthering Heights, Grapes of Wrath, but after going to see the Black Dandyism exhibition at the Met, and being particularly struck by Frederick Douglass's personal items, my mom gave me a copy of the narrative of Frederick Douglass, An American Slave, and I was incredibly blown away from start to finish. His prose glide across the page. He's so evocative and easy to follow, while digesting and working through some of the most complex social issues known to man, and he does it with grace and humility, omnipotence where there needs to be, and heart and the rest. And right from the start, you're reminded of the importance of representation. My copy opened with a letter from a white activist who had seen Douglass speak, and he writes of the importance of being in the room with him, hearing the stories come from his mouth and knowing they were seen with his eyes. It's always been important to have marginalized people speak out, exist proudly, and those who are intelligent and eloquent like Douglass take it upon themselves to educate with those experiences. And like the writer of that letter, it's not like I hadn't heard of many of the terrors of slavery before, before, but recontextualized in such an empathetic way solidifies it in a way a textbook can't. Anyone with an HBO subscription, go watch Carnivale now. It so perfectly fits into the world of Twin Peaks, Lost, True Detective, and while I'm sad we never got to see it conclude, that shouldn't stop potential viewers from delving into this world. It crafts a narrative that tiptoes between Depression-era Americana and mystical magic realism seamlessly, and has a laundry list of some of the best dream sequences and visions in all of TV history. Clancy Brown's performance throughout this is just monster, and it's insane he doesn't get more credit for it. Plus, something I'd like to talk more about at length in the future is the fact that Carnivale is a great show for disability representation, with all kinds of disabled characters at the helm of every element of the narrative, who are flawed, three-dimensional, and push past their stereotypes. I'd love to see a Twin Peaks The Return style reboot of this one day, because it truly deserves it. And I can't talk about this year without mentioning my saving grace, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I got to a point this year that the only thing that could soothe me from my growing apathy was indulging in it with Larry and Richard, or Larry and Susie's arguments. There are few bad episodes in its over 20-year run, and each season the conceits are better and better. Like, you'd think it'd get old, and it never really does. Comedy is observation, and the way Larry sees the world just so accurately matches up with a lot of my most curmudgeon tendencies. So naturally, it's been such a balm in this crazy world. When it comes to film, I did a lot of 20th century paranoia this year, from things like The Manchurian Candidate, to Parallax View, to Altered States, Jacob's Ladder, but none of it touched me as weirdly and deeply as The Swimmer did. It has such an odd, hypnotizing quality that fits in very well with my reality bending video from earlier this year, but does it in a way that creates some of the most biting commentary I've ever seen about the dying of the golden age of the nuclear family. It's honestly incredible it came out in the 60s because it feels like a retrospective of the 60s, the good and the bad, free love and manufactured consumerism, and centers itself within a broken man trying to fit between these two worlds. All this set upon this eerily pastoral and truly Yankee prep backdrop of rich rural Connecticut. It just cultivates a vibe of hysteria in a way I've never seen before and feel I'll never see again. While I didn't watch nearly as much Indian cinema as I usually do or should based on my watch list right now, I did see Devi and was utterly devastated by it. Its statements on the degradation of religious extremism, from its impact on medical neglect to the ways it forces young girls to grow up fast and endure while simultaneously forcing them to be pure, are relevant to extreme sects of faith in any religion. Sharmila Tagore was either 15 or 16 when she starred in this, and I just can't wrap my head around it. She embodies this role with such gravitas and melancholia people work for their entire careers to achieve. La Chimera has been on my watch list since it came out, and when I finally got around to seeing it, it wasn't the film I was expecting at all, but I loved every second of it. As an amateur classics nerd and art history fanatic, the ethics of viewing, owning, and selling historical relics is of real import to me, and this film explores every side of that in comical, romantic, magic realist, and deeply spiritual ways throughout. And it feels indistinguishable from some Italian cinema of the time. A lot of 80s period pieces showcase the current and glamorous, but La Chimera settles itself in a town that's barely made it into the 70s, which affects the color, the texture, and the feel of the world around them. And I gotta respect any Kraftwerk needle drop, especially Space Lab. That's not nearly the extent of what I enjoyed this year. From Girls to The Wicker Man, Jackie Brown, Winter's Bone, or the fucking Company movie, I felt like I gained a much broader understanding of a lot of eras and directors this year. And like every year, I learned a lot from everything I watched. Which is why we have to discuss the upcoming Netflix and Warner Brothers deal and how it was some of the worst possible news in the industry this year. Indie film is alive and well. Young people are going to the theaters more than any other age group right now. There's a gigantic market out there of film goers and TV watchers who care about the stories they see, appreciate and feel represented by diverse casts and crews, and don't deserve a world where media is monopolized and maximized for shareholder value. Thankfully, a lot of the industry is already pulling together over this, but make a scene. Cancel your Netflix subscription. Take a little trip on a pirate ship. But support your local theaters, especially when they screen old films, foreign films. Put your money where your mouth is if you can, and show them that films can start discussions and change lives. Thank you so much for watching this video. I put some of my favorite video essays and videos on YouTube from this year in the playlist in the description, so be sure to check those out as well. Thank you all for hanging with me this year and working through our favorite media together. I already have a lot in store for 2026, and I can't wait to see you then.